Hi, my name is Melanie Green. I am the resident costume designer and costume shop manager here at the Art Center of Coastal Carolina. Today I am joined by Anna Sanford Blackwell, our cutter draper, and David Louder, our wardrobe supervisor. And we're going to show you how to take your own measurements. So whether you've just been cast in a show and you need to provide a filled out measurement sheet to your costume shop, or you want to start building your own clothing, or you want to alter your own clothing to fit you better, taking accurate measurements of yourself is the best way to accomplish that. The supplies you will need are a flexible tape measure. You can find this at any arts or crafts store. You will need a flat ruler. You will need a measurement sheet and a pencil. And you will need a length of elastic, which David and Anna are wearing around their waist. Make sure that you are wearing well-fitted clothing, nothing too bulky, nothing that will add extra dimensions. Women, it is recommended that you wear a properly fitted underwire bra if you're taking measurements for a show. Otherwise, wear whatever undergarments you'll wear with the finished garment. When you are taking your own measurements, you need to be careful not to duck your head or twist your body or contract your body in any weird way, because that will affect the final measurement. And if you have long hair, make sure it's pulled up and out of the way. So we're going to start with the big three measurements: chest, waist, and hip. These are sort of the landmark measurements that are used to determine the fit of everything else. Now, this is where the waist tape is needed because we need to find the actual waist on your natural body. Waist is not always the narrowest part of your body. It often is, but not always. I recommend bending over to the side, one side or the other, like a little teapot, and finding where your body creases, and then placing your waist elastic at that point. This will give you a frame of reference for all of the other measurements that we are going to take. Now, when you're taking your waist measurement, wrap the tape measure around your body. Make sure it is parallel to the ground, that it's not riding up or twisting at all. And you're going to take this measurement twice. The first time with your body relaxed, and then again when you take a nice deep breath in. This is because many people breathe from their diaphragm, particularly if they're trained singers, and the waist expands dramatically. The next measurement we're going to take is the chest. This is taken at either the fullest part of the bust or the fullest part of the pectoral muscles. Again, you want to take this measurement twice, once when you're relaxed, and then once after you take a deep breath in. Chest is a very important measurement for both men and women, but particularly men because it's used to find the suit measurement. With your suit is sized according to your chest measurement when you're relaxed. However, there are also length measurements when it comes to suits. Suits are sized either short, regular, long, or sometimes extra long, and it depends on your height as to which suit length you're going to get. Men that are under 5'7" will get a short suit length. Men that are about 5'8" to about 6 feet tall will get a regular suit length. 6 to 6'3" is a long suit length, and then above 6'3" is extra long, or you often will need a custom tailored suit. However, some men are particularly athletically built, and they may need to size up in their suit measurement. To determine that, you will take the overarm measurement. So you have your actors stand with their arms down by their side, and you wrap the tape measure around their upper body at the chest, but around their arms as well. Then you will take that measurement and subtract the chest measurement from it. If the difference is greater than 8 inches, you will need to size up in your suit and get it tailored, or you'll need to find an athletically cut suit. Not all brands have them, but it's important to find so that you're not straining your suit jacket and busting out of it. So the next measurement that we're going to take is the hip measurement. This is often called the full hip. That means it's the widest part of your body below the waist. So you're going to wrap the tape measure around your hips. You also will need to make sure that there is nothing in your pockets before taking this measurement. David. So you take that measurement. This is one that you only need to take once because you don't usually breathe from your hips. However, there are some sub-hip measurements that we recommend you take. These are different levels on everyone, but it's recommended that you take them in order to get a full picture of what your body looks like. These include pants waist, lower waist, and hip bone. The pants waist is just how it sounds. It's the measurement taken at where you usually wear your pants. The lower waist is usually at the belly button. Often it overlaps with the waist measurement, but not always. And then the hip bone, you are going to sort of feel around your body and feel where the hip bone is most prominent, and that's where you're going to take the hip bone measurement. These sometimes overlap, but these are good landmarks to figure out what shape your body is. And then another measurement that we're going to have you take with both Anna and David on screen is the neck measurement. This is usually asked to do the base of the neck and then the middle of the neck. The base is used for shirt collars, and then the middle is used for like choker necklaces. So you have it wrapped loosely around the lower part of the neck and then tightly around the collar, around the middle of the neck. So those are the really major body measurements done. We're going to get into some of the more specific measurements and how they're used for clothing building. Women specifically have two measurements that they're asked to take. These are under bust and then bust point to bust point. So for under bust, you're going to wrap the tape measure around the body, right under the bust where the band of your bra would be. You're often recommended to take a deep breath in, just to see if there's any expansion. The other measurement, bust point to bust point, is taken really from the apex of each breast. It's used for darts or princess seams. That one is more easy to take on yourself. Now we're going to go through some torso measurements and how they're used in clothing construction. The first one is shoulder to shoulder, and I recommend having your actor raise their arm to the side, and then I'm going to have you scoot to the middle, and then you find sort of the divot where your bone meets the socket, and then you have the actor lower their arm, and that is the shoulder point. We tend to use the bones as the landmarks because they move less than flesh. You're going to measure across the back of the body from shoulder to shoulder, and then you're also going to measure across the front of the body from shoulder to shoulder. Similarly, we're going to do arm's eye to arm's eye, which is where the arm meets the torso, and you measure across, arm's eye to arm's eye, and then the back, arm's eye to arm's eye. Next, we're going to do some body length measurements. So the first one we're going to do is neck to waist and to floor. So you're going to find the collarbone, and you're going to find where it sort of has that divot, and then you're going to ask the actor to put the tape measure where the top of the divot is, where the collarbone sort of slants out to the side. And then you're going to measure down the body to the waist tape, and then all the way down to the floor. This is used for garment length and for knowing what the proportion of the body is. Similarly, you're going to do back nape to waist and then to floor. So you'll have your actor bend their head forward, and you'll find the vertebra that is most prominent, and then have them raise their head. And that is the point where you're going to put the tape measure and then measure down the body to the waist, and then all the way to the floor again. Some final body length measurements. We're going to go from shoulder to bust point to waist. And this is going to tell you for princess seams and darts where things need to go. Then you will also have the actor raise their arm to the side, and we're going to do underarm to waist, which is just straight down the side of the body. So those are the torso measurements that you'll usually be asked to do. We're going to move on to some leg measurements with David's help. Leg measurements are used to determine pant length and different sizes if you're doing any fitted pants. So we're going to measure inseam first. Now, I always ask the actor to take the end of the tape measure and put it where their legs meet, where the seam of their pants are. It needs to go on the inside of the leg, because for inseam you measure down the inside of the leg to the knee, to the ankle, and then all the way to the floor. We ask the actor to hold the tape measure there so that we get a more accurate measurement. Then we have outseam, which is measured from the waist to the knee and then to the floor. We're going to put the tape measure at the waist elastic and measure down the side of his leg to the knee, to the ankle, and to the floor. And those will tell you either what inseam you need on your pants, or if you're making a skirt, what the length of the skirt needs to be from the waist. So then we have some leg width measurements. Now I always ask my actor to step forward on their dominant leg in a slight lunge with their knee bent. And then you take the tape measure and you're going to wrap it around the leg at the thigh, usually above the knee, below the knee, at the widest part of the calf, and then at the ankle. And those are going to tell you if you have to make anything fitted to the leg, what the measurements need to be. So those are the leg measurements. Now we're going to move on to some arm measurements with Anna's help. To do the first arm measurements, you always ask your actor to hold their arm out in front of them like they're checking the time or like they're a graceful ballerina, one of the two. So you're going to measure, the first one is from the shoulder to the elbow. So that just goes right down the arm to the elbow and then goes down to the wrist to do the second one, shoulder to wrist. These are always measured with the arm bent to allow for movement during the show. The next one we're going to do is sleeve length. So you have the actor hold their arm out bent in front of them. And then you find, I'm gonna have you turn, Anna. So then you find the prominent vertebra. You put the tape measure there and then you measure all the way down the arm to the wrist. This is primarily used for men's shirts, which are sized according to the collar and the sleeve length. We're also going to ask the actor to hold their arm out straight to the side, and you're going to measure sleeve length from the underarm to the elbow and then to the wrist. These are used to give a more complete measurement of what the sleeve needs to look like. Then finally, we have some arm width measurements. Now you ask your actor to take their dominant arm and you prop it on their hip and give the bicep a slight flex. Now, when the actor is standing like this, you are going to measure arm's eye, up around the arm. This is used for sleeve measurements. You're going to measure around the bicep. You're going to measure around the forearm at the widest point, and you're going to measure around the wrist. And when you have the actor stand like that, you can get all of those in one quick motion. The final arm measurement we're going to take is glove. So you have the actor hold their hand out in front of them. You wrap the tape measure around the knuckles and then they make a fist. And that is your glove measurement. That's how we figure out what size glove they need to wear. Now we're going to move on to a few other full body measurements and some head measurements with David's help. Thank you, Anna. David is going to demonstrate for us how to measure girth, full girth, and crotch depth. So girth and full girth is the measurement around the body. It's recommended that you need a longer tape measure for these. This one is 120 inches long, which 60 inches often isn't quite enough. So David is going to take the tape measure and start it at the waist tape. And half girth is measured from the waist around the bottom to the back. Full girth, you continue the tape measure up around the shoulder and you meet at the waist. And that gives you, for dance wear in particular, how your leotards are gonna fit. Then we have the measurement of crotch depth. For crotch depth, you ask your actor to sit on a flat surface, and then you take your ruler and you put it level with the surface and you measure up the side of the body to the waist elastic. And that's going to tell you your rise on your pants. Then finally, we're going to do some head measurements. These are used for both hats and wigs. You will often be specified whether you need to have your hair wig prepped or not. So if your measurement sheet just asks for head, they're just asking for a hat measurement. And you will measure around your head, level with the ground. And if you turn, you can see level all the way around, flat around the head. There may be a few other measurements asked of you, depending on whether they're making a headpiece or if you're wearing a wig. If these are wig measurements, you're asked to prep your hair as if you're wearing a wig. We're not gonna ask David to do that today. You have ear to ear, which is measured across the top of the head. And if you turn to the side, David, you can see where it lines up. And that's measured right like that. Another one that we have is hairline to nape. So you start the tape measure here, right where David's hairline starts, and you go all the way around to where the hairline ends at the back of the head. And then a final one that we will do is the hairline measurement, which is along the hairline all the way around the head. It's at an angle and slanted as opposed to just flat around the head like the head measurement. Thank you, David. So that is how you take your measurements, whether you take them on your own or with a friend's help. If you liked this video, press the like button and subscribe to our channel at the Art Center of Coastal Carolina, where you'll see more backstage videos from my fellow staff members. Make sure to smash that notification button, and I hope to see you again in a future video. Thank you so much.